What if the most real thing about you isn't your name, your job, or your memories? What if it's a silent, unseen presence that's looking out from your eyes right now? A presence that ancient sages and quantum physicists are both pointing to. Over the next 40 minutes, we're going on an investigation. We will become detectives of the spirit to uncover a single entity that wears 1,000 masks throughout history, and we'll discover how the most bizarre finding in modern science provides a stunning reflection of this ancient truth. Have you ever felt like a silent witness to your own thoughts? Stay with us as we unmask the observer. You're a seeker. You've downloaded apps for meditation, listened to podcasts on Stoicism, read quotes from the Vedanta, and heard Alan Watts talk about the cosmic game. The terms pile up: Atman, the witness, the hegemonicon, consciousness. It feels as though you're standing in a spiritual supermarket with 1,000 brilliant ingredients lining the shelves, but you've been given no recipe. And so the core question echoes in the silence. Are they all talking about the same thing? This feeling isn't a personal failure. It is a symptom of our modern age. We have access to all the world's wisdom at our fingertips, but this flood of information often leads to a kind of intellectual indigestion rather than genuine nourishment and transformation. This video is the recipe. It is the map that reveals how all of these seemingly different roads are, in fact, leading to the exact same mountaintop. Our investigation, therefore, begins not with faith, but with curiosity. We will approach these ancient traditions as eyewitness testimonies. Each tradition, in its own time and in its own language, saw the same profound suspect. Our work together is to listen to each account and from them create the composite sketch. Our first clue takes us to ancient India and to one of the most famous names for our entity, Atman. To understand it, let's set aside the old metaphors. Forget the idea of a movie screen. Think of your mind for a moment as an incredibly sophisticated computer. The thoughts that race through your head, the waves of emotion you feel, the memories that surface. These are like the applications. They are the software, constantly running, opening, and closing. The ego, the personality you present to the world, is like the user profile you are currently logged into. But the sages of the Vedanta asked a deeper question. What is the operating system? What is that silent, fundamental background process that allows all of these apps to run, without ever being one of them? That is Atman. It is the iOS or the Windows of your consciousness. It is utterly essential, always present, but it works silently in the background. It is the invisible architecture that enables every single experience you have. This is a crucial distinction. You can't point to the operating system on your computer screen. You only see the applications it is running. Yet, without that silent foundational OS, there would be no screen, no apps, no user at all. It is the unmanifest potential that allows for everything that becomes manifest. And here our investigation finds its first major clue. The ancient seekers realized that the true self is not another object to be found. It is not a thought, not a feeling, not even a subtle experience. It is the silent, aware space in which all experiences arise and disappear. It is not a thing you do or a thing you can possess. It is the very field of being in which all your doing and possessing takes place. The sages of the Vedanta went even deeper. They gave this silent operating system a specific function name, Sakshi. This translates beautifully as the witness. If Atman is the underlying OS, then Sakshi is its most profound diagnostic tool. To understand this, you need only consult your own experience. Think of the last time a powerful wave of anxiety washed over you. In that moment, there were many things present. There was the physical sensation, perhaps a tightness in your chest, a quickening of your breath. There were the thoughts, the what-if scenarios, the worries, the mental pictures. But there was also something else, wasn't there? A quiet, subtle part of you that simply knew, I am experiencing anxiety. That part that knows is not anxious itself. It is not caught in the story. It is simply clearly and impartially registering that the anxiety program is running. That knowing is Sakshi. It is the impartial log file of your experience, recording every event that happens on the screen of your awareness without judgment, without commentary, and without being changed by it. And here, our investigation yields its first clear glimpse of the unseen I. Just as the operating system of a computer can never be just another application on the desktop, the witness can never be an object of its own perception. It can be aware of a thought, a feeling, a sound, but it cannot be aware of itself as a thing. It is forever the subject, the ultimate perceiver that can never be perceived. This profound realization was discovered in India. They identified the operating system of consciousness. But was this discovery an isolated event? Or did another great culture find this very same witness, not by defining it, but by trying to delete all the apps? We now journey from India to the heart of the Buddhist path, and here our investigation seems to halt. The path appears to fork into a direct contradiction, because where the Vedanta speaks of the true self, or Atman, Buddhism introduces the teaching of Anatta, or no self. How can both be true? How can one path lead us to a self, and another teach us there is no self to be found? The secret is to understand that this is not a contradiction in discovery, but a difference in method. Imagine a master sculptor who is given a giant, formless block of marble. A student approaches and asks, "Master, where is the beautiful statue?" The sculptor does not point to a specific spot inside the marble. Instead, they pick up a chisel and say, "The statue is what remains when I have chipped away everything that is not the statue." This is the brilliant method of the Buddha. The Buddhist path is not one of adding beliefs, but of careful, honest subtraction. It invites you to become that sculptor. It asks you to look at your own experience with radical honesty and begin to chip away at everything you mistakenly call I or mine. You look at your body. It changes, it ages, it is subject to sickness. It is not a permanent, reliable self. And so, with the chisel of wisdom, you note, this is not me. You look at your feelings, joy, sorrow, anger, peace. They arise like clouds and they pass away. You are the awareness of them, but you cannot be the fleeting feelings themselves. And so you note, this is not me. You look at your thoughts. They appear unbidden and disappear just as quickly. You can witness them, but you cannot be them. And so you note, this is not me. Do you see the process? The teaching of no self is not a cold, nihilistic statement that you do not exist. It is a practical instruction. It is the sculptor's guide to liberation. It is a path to stop identifying with the parts of you that are temporary, conditioned, and ultimately a source of suffering. And so, when all the marble chips of mistaken identity have fallen to the floor, what are you left with? You are left with the silent, aware presence of the sculptor. You are left with the consciousness that was holding the chisel, doing the observing, all along. The statue that is revealed is the living presence of the artist. The same witness, discovered not by definition, but by elimination. Let us now take an unexpected turn in our investigation. We leave the contemplative quiet of the East and travel to the bustling, pragmatic world of ancient Rome and Greece. Here, amongst the Stoics philosophers known for their logic and focus on action, we would not expect to find our mystical observer. And yet we do. It is hidden in plain sight. The Stoics spoke of a faculty within us called the hegemonikon. It means the ruling faculty. The great emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius referred to it as the inner citadel, a fortress of peace and reason within the mind that no amount of external chaos could ever breach. To make this immediately clear, let's give it a modern title: the CEO's Office of the Mind. For the Stoics, events in the world, a promotion, an insult, a storm, are simply incoming data. In themselves, they are neutral. They only gain the power to disturb us when we usher them into the CEO's office and stamp them with a reactive judgment. This is good. This is terrible. This is a disaster. The entire practice of Stoicism, then, is to create a moment of profound stillness. It is to create a space between the data arriving on your desk and the CEO making a decision. In that sacred pause, you, as the ruling faculty, can observe the initial impression. You can look at the thought, "He insulted me," without immediately becoming the anger and shame of that thought. You, as the CEO, can calmly look at the data and choose. You can choose to say, "That is merely his opinion. It is an external event. It has no power over my inner state unless I grant it that power." This is the witness, but wearing a toga. It is the very same power to observe a thought or an emotion without being swept away by it. It is the creation of a conscious space between stimulus and response. And this discovery, in this context, is incredibly important. It proves that our observer is not some exotic spiritual fantasy. It is a key psychological faculty. It is the source of resilience and peace, identified by the West's most practical minds as the essential tool for a life of freedom and virtue. And so, let us place the clues side by side. India's Atman, the silent operating system that runs all of existence. Buddhism's method of Anatta, the sculptor's hand that chips away all that is false to reveal the true form. Stoicism's hegemonicon, the calm CEO residing in the untouchable inner office. For millennia, they have looked like different paths, different doors leading to different truths. Today we see them for what they are. They are not different doors. They are different locks, protecting the same sacred space. And the observer in you, that silent, witnessing presence, is the master key that fits them all. That quiet feeling you have always had, deep within you. That sense that you are more than the sum of your thoughts, more than the storm of your emotions. That is not a fantasy. It is not an illusion or a trick of the mind. It is the echo of the most profound truth humanity has ever discovered. You are not lost in 1,000 different paths. You have never been lost. You have simply been holding the master key in your hand all along, wondering which of the 1,000 doors it was for. The answer is, it is for all of them. You have always been on the one and only path there is, the path of the observer, remembering itself. For centuries, this discovery was the hidden treasure of the mystics and the philosophers. But then, in the 20th century, something extraordinary happened. Physicists, in their quest to understand the fundamental building blocks of matter while smashing atoms apart, accidentally knocked on this very same door. We now enter the strange and beautiful world of quantum mechanics. And here we must be very precise. This is not pseudoscience. This is not wishful thinking. This is the most rigorously tested and consistently bizarre theory in the history of science. At its very heart lies a mystery known as the double-slit experiment. The setup is simple. Imagine firing fundamental particles like electrons one by one at a screen that has two thin slits in it. When we don't watch which slit the electron goes through, the results are baffling. Each electron behaves like a wave, somehow passing through both slits at the same time and creating a distinctive interference pattern on the detector wall behind it. It's as if the particle is aware of the entire setup. But, and this is the part that has puzzled generations of physicists, a finding confirmed in countless laboratories, the moment we place a detector to observe which slit the electron actually passes through, the entire reality of the experiment changes. The wave behavior vanishes. Instantly, the electron stops acting like a wave of potential and behaves like a simple, solid particle going cleanly through one slit or the other. The very act of measurement, the act of observation, is inextricably linked to the reality that is measured. The great physicist John Archibald Wheeler, a colleague of Albert Einstein, was so profoundly moved by this discovery that he proposed what he called a participatory universe. He suggested that we live in a universe that is brought into being, in a very real sense, by the participation of those who observe it. He famously and bravely stated, "No phenomenon is a real phenomenon until it is an observed phenomenon." Let us be absolutely clear about what this means. This does not prove that our personal consciousness creates the world. But the parallel, the resonance, is breathtaking. For thousands of years, the ancient sage has said from their meditation cushion, "The world of your experience is upheld by your witnessing of it." Now, the modern physicist says from their laboratory, "The state of a physical system seems to be determined by our observation of it." The observer, it turns out, is not just watching the show. It appears to be a fundamental player in the game. This is all fascinating, a cosmic insight that echoes through the ages. But how do we use it when we are stuck in traffic, or facing a difficult conversation, or staring at a blank screen on a deadline? The true beauty of this discovery is not in its abstraction, but in its immediate practical application. We practice what the ancient Stoics knew, and what modern evidence-based therapy now confirms. We take what we can call the CEO's pause. This is not a long meditation. It is a potent, three-step blueprint for freedom that you can use in any moment of your life. The first step is to step back. The instant you feel a strong, difficult emotion begin to arise, a flash of anger, a wave of dread, mentally take one single step backward from it. Imagine it is an object in front of you, not the entirety of you. This simple inner movement creates a crucial sliver of space. The second step is to label it. Give the experience a simple, non-judgmental name, but do it with precision. You do not say, "I am anxious." Instead, you say to yourself, "I am noticing the feeling of anxiety." You are not angry. You are noticing the presence of anger. This subtle shift in language is profound. It cleanly separates you, the observer, from the feeling being observed. You are the one who is noticing. And the third step is to choose. Now, from that quiet, clear space from the CEO's office, you can decide how to respond. You are no longer reacting blindly on autopilot. You can ask, does this feeling require an action? Or can I simply allow this piece of data to pass through my awareness without needing to do anything at all? This is not a practice of suppression. It is the very definition of liberation. With this pause, you stop being a slave to every thought and feeling that appears on your screen. You stop being a victim of your own inner weather. You become what you were always meant to be, the calm, clear-eyed leader of your own inner world. We began our journey as detectives, tracking a mysterious suspect with 1,000 names. We found its fingerprints in the ancient texts of the Vedanta, in the quiet monasteries of Buddhism, in the rational mind of the Stoics, and astonishingly, in the strange behavior of the quantum world. The final revelation was not that we found the suspect. It was that the one doing the searching was the very one being sought. Atman, the witness, the hegemonicon, the quantum observer. They are all fingerprints of the same unseen presence. Your presence. You are not a camera, passively recording a universe that already exists. You are the very lens through which the universe achieves focus. You are the sacred point of view where the cosmos becomes self-aware. Tonight, when you look up at the stars, consider this. The light from a star that is 1 billion years old, light that has traveled across unimaginable voids of space and time, is completing its epic journey in one place, in your consciousness. The star is the object, but you are the event. If you recognize yourself as this unseen eye, let us know in the comments by writing, "I am the lens." Your journey fuels our own. Subscribe to Mystic Sages for more explorations into the very heart of reality. Thank you for being here.